Bruce Kivo here from MMA Confidential. We're doing another UCL Confidential with the Underground Combat League legend, Peter Storm. We have the 10th anniversary fights coming up this Sunday. Peter, tell us about this event.
Yeah, like you said, this is the 10-year anniversary. It's been a long road, but we're here 10 years later. So this is a celebration of the Underground Combat League being still being here for 10 years. And it's also sort of a campaign to get MMA sanctioned and legalized in New York, because that roadblock still exists. You know, as everybody knows, I've managed to run my league through a loophole in the law, and I'll continue to. You know, but at some point in the near future, you know, the legislation has to come come to grips with the fact that there's people like me who are running shows, and that this should be you know, professionalized and legalized.
Everybody knows you are MMA in New York, and you've got like some of the hottest fights going this Sunday, man. Talk me through them.
I got a guy named Dawuda David, who's a Jeet Kune Do master. He'll be main eventing tournament finals with my guy Jerome Mickle. The way Dawuda David came into the picture was we had a tournament that we set off in November, and his guy Mike Brown won his fight, advanced, but got injured. So David came in and took his spot. He won his fight and completely impressed everybody. He hit his opponent with a body shot and pretty much knocked him out. So now here we are, February 2013, and the finals of this tournament are approaching, and he's facing my guy Jerome Mickle, who's 5-0. So you know, my guy has a lot of experience. Surprisingly enough, just out of that first appearance, a lot of people think that this guy could beat my guy. I don't think so. If I was biased, which I am, I would say my guy's gonna win. But either way, I believe it's going to be a really good fight. So that's going to end up being the main event. The co-main event of that show will be the Division A title fight, which is 155 pounds. It'll be Chad Hernandez, who we've seen, who's an amazing competitor. He's fun to watch. He's exciting. He'll be going up against Nico Augusto.
Another guy who brings it.
Another guy who brings it. So I mean, that's a fight that if Nico could defend the takedowns, Nico has a good chance. But if I was a betting man, I would say that Chad is going to end up grinding him out. You know, Chad's a marathon fighter too. You know, it's a 3-5 minute round fight.
And he's got amazing submissions. He was also an expert kickboxer.
He's putting everything together. I still think he lacks a lot in his skill set.
You mean his wrestling?
No, his wrestling's actually really good. It's just, you know, he lacks a lot of striking. But his wrestling's actually his biggest strength, you know. So, I mean, his wrestling and his cardio. So, that, you know, that'll be for a title fight. So, whoever wins that fight will be walking out as a 155-pound champion. And then we got the third super fight of the night would be Rashad Clark, who's a veteran, 5'5" veteran. I had the pleasure of fighting him in the past. The guy's tough, really tough. He's going up against Mike Brown, who I mentioned previously. Mike Brown's 1-0. He's a Jeet Kune Do fighter, but he won his debut fight with an armbar. So this is one of those fights where it could go either way. I always say the guys that we don't know, that are untested, that we've never heard about, are the most dangerous fighters. For that reason, because we don't know what they bring. But you know, I have confidence in a lot of the veterans, and I think they're all going to be good fights. So those are going to be the 3 super fights that are going to be highlighted that night. And we got about four more fights to follow. So it should be a great show.
And Chris Core is coming down, I think, from Florida. He's going to try to fight. A lot of the crew from the old days, the UCL loyal people are going to come down, right?
Yeah, this is really a big media event more than anything. And this is the opportunity for a lot of these guys that they can display their skill and they can put their name out there to a lot of these MMA journalists that are going to be there from ESPN, Sports Illustrated, etc. So you got a guy like Chris Core who's a legend in the UCL. I mean, what he's managed to do with his life and his career is amazing. You know, a guy who came in at 170 pounds.
And he's 5'3".
5'3", 170 pounds. He was basically a pug. And he was fighting guys, you know, who were 170, 180 pounds. But these guys were fit, in shape, and they were whipping him out, you know. And Chris, you know, he had a really nasty attitude back then. And he was really out of shape. But he had tons of heart. And he transformed himself. He cut 50 pounds, started training harder, and changed his attitude. And when the new Chris Core debuted at 130 pounds, that was amazing for anybody to see, you know. And you know, he became successful. And he's like an inspiration story that anybody who knows him and knows his story can follow, you know, whether you're a fighter or not.
It's going to be a great event this Sunday, the 10th anniversary of the Underground Combat League. I'm Bruce Kevo from MMA Confidential, and that's Peter Storm, the Underground legend. Thank you, brother.